Oh, I'm expecting this video to be controversial as hell. Hello everyone, Mob Spider here. Hope you all are having a fantastic day today. And today I am going to be ranking all of the mainline Call of Duty Zombies experiences from worst to best. Keep in mind that this is my personal opinion, and I'm not going to be including anything like the mobile ports or the DS ports of the Call of Duty games, because let's be real, nobody cares about those. You guys just want to know my rankings of the mainline Call of Duty games. So, once again, this is my personal opinion. You are free to hate me after this video is done, but without further ado, let's begin. So, coming in at the very worst zombies experience, I don't think is going to be a shock to anybody here, but this is going to be World War II zombies. What? Were you expecting me to make a joke and actually cut to Vanguard instead? You were, weren't you? Well, no, I'm sticking to this. I did not realize just how awful World War II Zombies was until I played it about a week ago in preparation for this video. I only ever played the Final Reich before this, and I know a lot of people praise that map, but to me it was just kind of an sort of map. But oh my god, the DLC is fucking horrible. Like, it is insane how bad they fucked up the DLC to this game. So, first of all, you have maps like the Darkest Shore, where you can't even see anything. You have the Tortured Path, which is this really weird mishmash of different ideas that just doesn't work well at all. And the other two maps are so forgettable that I can't even remember the names off of the top of my head. Like, it is insane to me that the Final Reich had, an arguably strong, I think it was just kind of an okay start, but it is insane to me that they managed to fuck this game up as bad as they did. At least Vanguard had some things that I kind of liked about it. Yes, I'm being nice to Vanguard, shockingly, but yeah, I couldn't believe just how horrible this game was. This is one of the most miserable experiences I've had playing a game in recent memory, and I needed to spend $60 on the fucking DLC just so I could get a good idea of how this game played for this video. That is $60 I am never getting back, and that 100% deserves it to be at the bottom of the list. So coming in at the 10th spot, or the second worst zombies experience, this is probably the one you were expecting to be at the bottom. This is Vanguard Zombies. Now, again, I can't believe I'm saying this, but there were actually some things about Vanguard Zombies that I liked. For example, I actually did really like the Covenant system. I know that that's something that a lot of people are kind of about, but personally, I did think it was a pretty neat system that I honestly would like to see return. I also thought that the gunplay in this game, while definitely not the best, it at least felt good to use certain guns, and you could kind of fool around with some things. But I think the biggest problem with this game for me is just the launch. The state which this game came out in was absolutely horrible. Like, there was nothing to this game when it came out. And, it has gotten better, and they did course correct with Shino Numa of all things, and one of the maps is literally a map that's already in the game, just dyed a different color, which is absolutely inexcusable. However, shockingly, once again, I managed to have more fun with this game than I did with World War II, which is kind of crazy to think about. And it kind of makes me glad that I played these two games fairly recently, because Vanguard was at the very bottom for a while, but holy fuck, I could not believe how bad World War II was. It was pretty much tied for the most part. Like, you can make arguments on which one's worse and which one's better, but in my opinion, I just think Vanguard is a little bit better due to the gunplay, and there are some systems that I do like in this game. They just weren't really implemented the best. Coming in at number 9, we have Exo Zombies from Advanced Warfare. The reason that this one is so low on the list is for a couple of reasons. A is just a very bare bones survival sort of experience. There are Easter eggs and stuff, but it's just 4 maps with not a whole lot to do except for like the quests, which aren't too bad, I guess. And But the problem that this game has, in my opinion, is just all of the forced inconveniences. Things like the infection rounds or the rounds on the map infection where you gotta escort the survivors. It just makes for a really annoying and irritating experience sometimes, and it really depends on how the game wants to treat you. That determines if you're going to have a good time or an absolutely horrible time on this game. So that's going to place it pretty low on the list, but it is better than the other experiences I've listed so far. Coming in at the number 8 spot is going to be World at War. Now, listen, before you kill me, the gap between Advanced Warfare and World at War is huge. Like, it is very big. But the problem that I have with this game is just, again, how bare bones it is. However, unlike Advanced Warfare, there's not a bunch of forced inconveniences that make this game infuriating to play. It's just kind of a bare bones experience, and there's not really a reason to go back to it because all of the maps have been remade in other games, in my opinion, better. For example, you have the Giant in Black Ops 3. Well, you have all the Zombies Chronicles maps in Black Ops 3. Personally, I think that the Shino Numa in Vanguard is the best version, but that's pretty much only because it has a pack-a-punch. But like I said, with this game, it doesn't really feel like there's a reason to come back to it when all the maps have been remade in better games. Speaking of games that aren't really worth coming back to, at the number 7th spot we have the original Black Ops. Now, this is my first Call of Duty game, so I would let nostalgia kind of blind me. But the problem is that a lot of these maps, once again, were in the Zombies Chronicles in Black Ops 3, and the two that weren't, being 5 and Call of the Dead, were just remade better in Black Ops 4, in my opinion. Personally, I'm not a fan of either 5 or Call of the Dead, but Classified and Tag der Toten are way above those maps, in my opinion. So again, this isn't a horrible game by any means, but I just think it's kind of middle of the road, and there's just really no reason to go back to it now. So coming in at the number 6 spot, which again, this is going to be a very big hot take, this is Black Ops 2. Now, in my opinion, this game was pretty difficult to rank because it does have some of my favorite experiences in zombies, such as Buried and Mob of the Dead, but it also has maps that I am not a fan of, such as Bus Depot, Transit, Die Rise I'm not really a huge fan of, and of course, it would be wrong of me to not talk about Origins, but in my opinion, the better version is once again in Zombies Chronicles, so Origins is just kind of a map that I don't really touch on this game. This game could have been a lot higher if Transit and Die Rise weren't really in it, but it's just the fact that there are some really great maps that are just held down by some really bad maps, so that's why it's here on the list. Coming in at the number 5 spot on my list is going to be Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. This game has a pretty similar problem to Black Ops 2, that being that there are some fantastic maps like Raven the Redwoods and Zombies in Spaceland that are unfortunately mixed with some absolutely horrible maps like Beast from Beyond. However, the thing that makes this game rank higher than Black Ops 2, in my opinion, is just because I think the systems are better in this game. For example, there's one mechanic where if you pick a perk and you end up changing your strategy or you don't really like the perk, you can just go up to the perk machine and refund it anytime you want. Also, there's the lost and found mechanic where when you go down, you can just go to a box and get your entire loadout back. And then, of course, there's the Director's Cut super Easter egg by completing all of the main quests. So, a combination of all of those made it rank higher than Black Ops 2, but once again, it shares a similar issue to Black Ops 2, where a lot of the maps, it's just a huge mix in quality. Alright, so unless if you've talked to me while I was prepping making this video, or you know me in real life, you probably weren't expecting this game to be as high as it was. But number 4, in my opinion, is Modern Warfare Zombies. Now, let me just get this out of the way right now. If you do not like this mode, I totally understand why. This is a very big diversion from what we're normally used to with zombies. However, I think that it's a good thing that we got this game because it shows that the companies, whether that be Activision or Treyarch or whoever helped make this game, show that they do want to try other things and try and expand the games and try and innovate in some ways. Now, again, I know that this isn't for everybody, but personally, I do like the gameplay loop. Maybe this was just because I was a fan of DMZ as well, but I honestly like this over DMZ, probably just because I didn't really have friends to play DMZ with and I was fucking horrible at it. But I do think that the gameplay loop does have a lot to offer, as long as if you're not like trying to rush through it. I think the main reason so many people say that there's not a lot to do in this game is because, don't get me wrong, there is actually a lot to do, but all of that content is not replayable. Like, once you do the Season Reloaded quests and you get all of the different schematics and stuff, there's really no reason to go back to it. And I think that's a huge reason why this game gets a bad rap. But I'm hoping that one day we get a more fleshed out version of this that has a lot more content to it. Now, at the time of me making this video, the Season 3 Reloaded update is coming out, and then after that, we know that Sledgehammer is going to be taking over the rest of this game, so we're not really sure what is going to be left. So this is probably the game that is most subject to change, but as of right now, I'm still having a ton of fun with this game. I know a ton of people disagree with this being at number 4, but personally, I think as of right now, it's still a pretty fun experience, and if you haven't tried it, I would recommend trying it at least once, maybe on like a free weekend or something. Coming in at the number 3 spot is going to be Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Now, this one might have actually been the most difficult one to rank because there are some fantastic experiences on it, like Ancient Evil. I personally really like Tag der Toten, and also 9 is a really good map as well. However, there are also some really bad or mediocre experiences, such as Alpha Omega. You got Dead of the Night is a map that I've tried to like, but I just can't stand it. And then you got maps like Voyage of Despair. Now, the reason that I'm ranking this so high is because, first of all, the map variety is pretty great, actually. 8 different maps, like I said, with varying quality, and most of them are actually pretty good. And the Easter eggs are really fun, at least from what I remember and played. I've only, I think, ever done I want to say it was the Alpha Omega Easter egg, and I actually had a lot of fun with it. However, like I said, the problem with this game is just some of the maps really weigh down this experience for me, and that's why it's going to be number 3 on the list. But don't get me wrong, it is still an amazing game. So number 2 and number 1 pretty much came down to the flip of a coin, but number 2 here is going to be Black Ops Cold War. This was the game that pretty much got me fully into zombies. I did play zombies ever since Black Ops 1 with Kino der Toten, but it was something that I would only really hop on occasionally. I would mostly be sticking with the multiplayer, but Cold War was the game that pretty much made me totally diverge right into zombies. Unfortunately, the game that came out immediately after was horrible, but we're not going to talk about that. Black Ops Cold War it seems very easy, and I know that a lot of people use that as, like, a critique against the game, but at the end of the day, when it comes to round-based zombies, I just want to shut my brain off and shoot a ton of zombies for a few hours, and that's exactly what Cold War lets you do. And not only that, there is such a variety of different modes, such as Outbreak, Onslaught, and of course you got Cranked, which nobody talks about. But overall, I just think this game is really fun and very replayable, especially due to the things like the Dark Aether camo, which I know camo grinding isn't for everybody, but personally I had quite a bit of fun getting it. And there's also the upgrade system and all that kind of stuff. It does seem a little bit more grindy than a lot of the other games on this list, but in my opinion, it is very fun, and it handles the grind pretty well, honestly. Okay, so I filled this list with hot takes. I am sure you probably don't agree with any of the spots on this list. However, there is one that I feel like everybody can agree on, and that is number one being Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It is not even really a contest. I mean, this game has the best map selection out of any zombies experience. You have maps like Shadows of Evil, Der Eisendrache, Gorod Krovi, Revelations, just absolutely amazing experiences. And then, of course, you got the Zombies Chronicles, which brings back a bunch of fan favorite maps from the previous games and just makes them better. And if you have a PC, and you're able to access Steam, you get the Steam Workshop, which gives you pretty much infinite replayability with the modded maps, and it pretty much makes it no longer a contest as to which game is the best in the entire series. Yeah, I did kind of have to cheat with the whole third party thing making this number one, but I don't care because the modding community is fucking amazing on Black Ops 3, and it has to be number one on this list. And that is what I consider to be every Call of Duty Zombies experience ranked from worst to best. Now, I guarantee there is at least one you disagree with, so feel free to tell me in the comments how much of a twat I am. But without further ado, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new, and I will talk to you all next time. See ya.